Well, howdy YouTube, Unky Joe here, Unky Joe's Playhouse. Today, we're going to put a camera in. And that's it. So, let's do it right now. No more waiting, I guess. So, this is what happens when you're cheap, like Unky Joe. No, not Jerry. Jerry isn't what happens when you're cheap like Unky Joe, but let me show you something here. So there's the image from that camera, and there's the image from that camera. Can you see the difference? I can. Can you see the other thing that really bothers me about this camera? Now, it's a pan, tilt, zoom, but look. And there I am. You can see me filming at my desk, but you see what I'm talking about? See what happens when we get over to the windows? You see everything gets washed out. That's what happens when you buy cheap cameras with cheap CCD sensors in them. They just don't last. Day after day, month after month, being exposed to different levels of light. The white balance goes off, the contrast and brightness goes off, and you can tell the sensor's getting really old. Plus, it's an older camera. This is a Foscam camera. Now, what we're going to replace it with is this camera. And you've seen me hook up these cameras before. I'm very, very happy with the quality of Amcrest cameras. Now, this is their 1080p pan tilt PoE camera. So I'm slowly replacing all of these older cameras. As you know, I've had some of these cameras 3 years, I guess. It just allows me to keep a better eye on the home when we're away or at home. So now the features of this camera are, it has power over Ethernet. It is cloud capable, which you know I don't use. 1080p. It's backed by Amcrest, wonderful, I think 1-year warranty, something like that. And it has a 90-degree field of view, so it's got quite a wider field of view than the camera I currently have in here does. So what we're going to do today is replace this camera here in my office with this one, and show you how we do that and what we need to do under Blue Iris to get this new camera to work. So let's not talk about it anymore. Let's actually get the job done. So you totally missed the unboxing because Genius here didn't have the damn microphone turned on. But basically what I did was you slide the cover off and it comes in this nice little Amcrest box, and I thought I was being smart and cutting one side of the tape. Anyway, so there's the box when you open it. And here is your Ethernet cable and your power supply. We're not going to need either one of those, because we're going to do PoE. And then the camera just goes in here. It's wrapped in cellophane. Now, so there it is. So once you take it out of the cellophane, this is basically what you get. You get a pan tilt zoom camera. That's got a nice little rubberized feel around the plastic. You get a power connector here. You've got audio in and out. It also has a built-in microphone and speaker on the back here. That's what that little thing for. This little plug-in right here is if you have an alarm system, so you can set it to trigger your alarm system if it detects motion. And then, of course, you have a PoE Ethernet connection right here. So what I'm going to do now is hand this over to Jerry, have him plug it in and hook it up, and then I'll show you what the next step is in getting this configured for Blue Iris. So what you'll need to do is come over to the Amcrest website and download their IP config software, which I've done. I'm going to go ahead and install that, and what that'll do is it'll scan it based on they have a UUID number, I believe they use on these Amcrest cameras. So the first time you set them up, you need to use the Amcrest configuration utility to get them set up. Normally, most cameras, when they come from the factory, are set with DHCP, but if memory serves me correctly, Amcrest does a little squirrely way. It has a little squirrely way of doing that. So I'm going to get that software installed, and we'll come back when I've done that. All right, so if you can see clearly over here, it's at 192.168.5.90. That's what it appears to be. And we want that this is the one in the living room. This is the one we want to configure. So I think I can come here. Yes, that is the correct camera. As you can see, there I am. So if I go over to net, I can take off the DHCP and change that to 5.152. The gateway is correct. Subnet mask is correct. The HTTP port, we're going to leave all the other ports where they are. I'm going to go ahead and click on Save. And now it tells me the device is offline. Go ahead and wait for that to come back. Now it came back and said RTSP failed to save, but this saves successfully. So if we go here to video, I still don't see any video. So let's go ahead and return, and let's go ahead and refresh. And now if you see, it finds it here at 5.152, and it is at IP2M-841EB is the model number. Now it also shows it's on version 2.520.AC. Let's maximize that out here. AC18R. So let's go out here. I think we can do an upgrade from here. Nope. You have to download the, I guess you have to download the firmware to update it. But here it is here. Let's see if I can't give it a name here somewhere. So we'll keep the color mode standard. Brightness, contrast, they all look okay for now. The net, wired IPv4 encode. Let's see, H.264 at 1080p at 30 frames per second, which is fine. Let's see, upgrade, let's go to info. Can we name it here? No. I'm going to sync with the PC. So now it's got the correct date and time on there. And apply to all devices, or return? Return. Okay. Now supposedly I can log into this thing. And where do I change the name? Because I also want to be able to tell it whether or not I want the little crest to appear on the screen and the date and time. So let's try this again. Chrome. And it's not prompting me to install the plugin. So let's try it with Edge. Ah, here we go. Now, question is what is it admin? And then we'll give it a new super secret password. When I clicked on Internet Explorer, it brought it up in Chrome, but it appears to be working. So, yeah, don't ask me. Don't ask me why. Now it wants to download and install the plugin. So we'll go ahead and do that. Go ahead and launch the app. Okay. So 192.168.5.152. And then we'll see if our new password works. I have not caught these Amcrest cameras going out to the internet without authorization, other than to check for updates. Now, one little problem is I don't have any video, and it is on live. Let's see here. Let's go to Setup, Camera, Refresh. No, I still don't see any video. Let's come over here to the video configuration. What I'm interested in is the overlay. The channel title I want to enable, but I want this called Office instead. The time is fine. Logo overlay I want disabled. So I'm going to save those settings. Let's see, audio. I want to enable audio. Let's go check our network settings here. As you can see, it's kind of a janky little interface here. Enable ARP ping to set IP address service. That's fine. Okay. Connection, event, storage system, general, information, log, online users. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and log out now. Get rid of these. And I bet you when I go to log in now, I'm going to need to put in my new password. Yes, and there it is. Okay, so the next thing we need to do is go into our Blue Iris software in order to further configure that camera. So I'm going to just click on return here. I'm going to refresh this real quick. Good, so now it's at the correct IP address. We've set our username and password. So let's go into Blue Iris and get it configured. So my Blue Iris is currently running as a virtual machine under XCP-NG, and I believe it's running Windows Server 2019 is what I'm running this on. Yes, it is. So I've got the Blue Iris actually running on here. Sorry, I minimized it for whatever reason or closed it. So now what we need to do, this is the office camera, so I need to go set it up. So you can simply, it's just a matter of coming in here to Blue Iris, you right click and go to camera properties. And then what I'm going to do is come over here to video, and right here it's got the IP address but it's got the wrong port number. So I'm going to come over here to find inspect. I'm just going to put the IP address in there of 192.168.5.152 and do a find inspect, and hopefully it will get the model number, port, and everything that I need. Okay, so it's calling it generic onviv. It's got the IP address. It should have the correct username and password. And let's see if we get an image. Drum roll. Yes, we do. Now, I'm just going to compare that to my living room camera setup. Make sure it's set to generic onviv. Let's see here. Yeah, generic onviv camera. So that works for my living room, so that should work for my office. So there you see now, I have my office camera up, and you notice it's not real time. It's like, so it thinks it's 53, now it's 58. So it's got a delay of about 5 seconds here on this interface. But this is all I need to do within Blue Iris, is to give it an IP address, username, and password. And the rest now I can take care of through my web interface. So I'm going to go ahead and close Blue Iris. Now Blue Iris is still running in the background, and this is the overall impact I'm having on my virtual machine. And you can see this virtual machine's been running 53 days, 19 hours, 15 minutes, and 39 seconds. I haven't brought this machine down in nearly 2 months. So, but let's get that out of the way. And now let's go to our, yes, I want to exit. Now what I want to do is go into our Blue Iris software, the actual web monitor, because I can configure things here. So here's the camera, and you see it's much wider field of view than the other one had. And the PTZ should work. So I should be able to do that and then come over here. And now we have another little problem. And that little problem is that the shelf it is on is too high. So we're going to have to move this camera. So let's do that, and then we'll come back. All right, so what we've done is actually put it on a box a little bit lower on that shelf. So now let's see if I can't get it adjusted. And the idea of this is to get the work area in so we can record some footage. Now that's as low as it'll tilt. So that's the deal with these Amcrest cameras, whereas the don't ask me what he's doing. He's knucking futs. But anyway, you can see it's a much wider field of view, so I can see anybody coming into this office. So I think what we'll do is end up leaving the camera right there, because that's also going to catch the work desk. And the work. Put your hands on the work desk area, Jerry, where we work. Okay. This camera is not so much of a security camera as it is a streaming camera or a recording camera for when we're doing stuff on the workbench. So I think what we'll do is we'll leave that camera there for now and call it good. Let's go look one more time at that camera. Okay. Right now, so it's Office 1, its streaming quality is 1080p, and you can see we're getting about 30 frames per second. So it's good quality, and I can I can see me at my desk rolling around. So yeah, it looks good. The time and date are up here, time and date are down here, so I could probably turn that off on the camera. The label for the camera is right down here called Office, so I think we're good. So now if you look at the surveillance video and you look at this screen right here, occasionally you will see it flicker. This is another one of those older Foscam cameras, one of the first ones I bought. This is in my den. This is the next one that's going to need to be replaced as well. And occasionally you'll see as the light changes in the room that the CCD sensor is not as good as it used to be, and it will start flickering. So that's another good reason to replace a camera. And then that will be the last camera that I have to replace inside of the home itself. And we have another camera that Jerry's going to be mounting outside to go along with this one here that you're looking at our shed with, so we can keep an eye on what's going on outside. Now the other thing we noticed, and you probably won't see it because I'm taking pictures of it today, but my spouse is a huge fan of hummingbirds, and we discovered we've got about 8 hummingbirds now, whereas a couple of years ago we had 2 or 3, and they come back every year in greater numbers. So I was hoping we'd get a shot of them today, but Jerry and I were sitting in the office the other day and noticed this cluster. There's a one hummingbird right there. Perfect timing hummingbird. But we'll get a cluster of about 8 of them in the as the evening starts to wear on. And they must live nearby, and they come and get refreshed. And I love hummingbirds. Don't know about you. But anyway, let's see if we can catch that camera flickering. And of course I can't. And you'll see Zira is on the prowl. And look, I forgot to put the half and half back in the refrigerator. This is our kitchen. So anyway, and this camera is a D-Link camera. This is one of the first cameras I ever bought. And this camera is doing pretty well. Even though it's only set up for 10 frames per second, it makes a pretty good image and allows us to keep an eye on that kitchen. And I've had 0 problems with that D-Link camera. The Foscam cameras, I can't say the same thing for. So I could have gone deeper into the setup of Blue Iris, but there's been an update now. I'm running, I think, Blue Iris version 5, and they're now up to version 6. So I'm going to go ahead and I've committed to taking the plunge and updating my Blue Iris from the version 5 to version 6. I just need to pay the fee. But I'm also toying with the idea of taking it off of a virtual machine and seeing if my little 5-second video delay doesn't go away. So, you know, I've got so much equipment here, there's no reason I couldn't put it on its own dedicated machine, but I'm cheap, you know, and I don't want to have a dedicated machine just for surveillance. But considering I have 7 cameras on this thing, it's probably not a bad idea to build or take one of the existing machines I have and dedicate it to Blue Iris, put a fast SSD drive in there. You know, SSDs have come down in price, so maybe we'll make a project out of that. So that's why I didn't do too much of a deep dive into Blue Iris. Now, when I do this update, I'll also show you how to back up all of your settings in Blue Iris and take it over to the new version. It's fairly trivial, so we'll be able to do that as well. So anyway, there you go. New cameras installed. Blue Iris is configured. All is right with the world. We hope you found the video entertaining and informative. As always, please give us a thumbs up down below if you enjoyed it. Leave your comments down in the comments section. Subscribe if you're not already a subscriber, and hit the notification bell. Let me take a breath now, because I have so much stuff to tell you at the end of the video, because YouTube makes it so hard to let people know there are new videos. Donate if you're so inclined. We take PayPal. We take Patreon. And all of the money you donate goes right back into this channel, so we can continue to make content that you folks find enjoyable. We breached the 6,000 subscriber ceiling, and I'm very happy about that. Thank you all so much for subscribing. We've had we average about 100 to 150 new subscribers every month, so the channel is growing. I want you to know I really do appreciate it. Again, if you like the video, thumbs up and leave your comments down below. What do you think? What do you think, huh? I've had people question me, why don't you use Synology surveillance system? Well, because it's too frickin' expensive, and I'm the king of cheap. That's right. So anyway, thanks again for coming to see us, and don't forget, we'll see you on the other side.